There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Freeze Frame, a weekly podcast covering all the latest in movie and TV news and updates. My name is Ryder, and I'm joined by my co-host and great friend, Luigi. And since we became friends, we've always loved talking about movies and TV, so we're going to go ahead and create a podcast and talk all about what we love, giving you all the latest.
Absolutely. Welcome. In this new world of streaming services and now theaters being shut down, we wanted to cover all of the news and headlines that are coming out every week to our devices. We receive so many news stories and we're so excited to cover them. We're also going to be covering theories, maybe some reviews, maybe some ideas we have, all sorts of stuff on this awesome podcast. We're so excited. But before we start, we just want to say thank you so much to all the people listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of these different podcast platforms. But we're also live on Twitch right now, Strictly Casual Official as well. We will also be posting this podcast on YouTube tomorrow, Sunday, which is going to be awesome. But
every week, yep.
Before we get started, we want to announce we are doing a WandaVision series right now, hosted by our very own Ryder, my co-host. And it's going absolutely amazing. He's doing a weekly recap of every episode, talking about Easter eggs, talking about, his predictions, all sorts of stuff. But without further ado, we know what you're here for. We know what you want.
Yep.
So how about you get us started, Ryder?
All right, with some breaking news, my first headline we got is we have Disenchanted. Disenchanted is coming. I think we've heard about this announcement a while ago, but Patrick Dempsey, who was one of the main actors, one of the main leads, is confirmed to be in the movie. They said that they're going to be starting shooting in March or April, and it's going to be coming to Disney Plus. So I'm super excited. It's the sequel to Enchanted. So that's going to be awesome.
How many years after Enchanted? Enchanted was like 2012, 2015? What?
It's been a long time now.
It's been a long time, right?
Enchanted release. Let's see. We look it up.
It has to have been 10 years.
Yeah, 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What the heck?
We're way off.
What is it, 13, 14 years? That's awesome.
Amy Adams is coming back too? She's coming back?
Yeah, she's going to be the lead.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be good.
I love Patrick, so I'm excited for that.
James Marston? Isn't that the guy?
Yeah, I think that's his name, but I don't know if he's coming back because I think his storyline ended, but they could bring him back as a connection, but not confirmed yet, so who knows?
Not confirmed. I like it. Next up, guys, we have Ray Fisher is reportedly out as Cyborg in the Flash movie. I'm sure you saw this this week. It's kind of been floating around. But this guy did something I've never seen an actor do, and he went off on social media, calling out DC Films, calling out the president. What's his name? Walter Hamada. The president of DC Films apparently didn't want them to part ways with Joss Whedon as well as Jeff Jones, and he tried to step in because there's a huge investigation about Justice League. But Ray Fisher basically aired it all out online and was like, "Look, guys, this investigation ended with these people leaving, and for good reason. They were being racist. There was a lot of allegations being thrown around, but now." He said that he didn't want to do another film, DC film, with Walter Hamada as being the president of DC. So they removed him from the Flash movie, and I'm just like, dude, did you torpedo your career? But at the same time, it's like, you're standing up for yourself, which I love. But it's like in this world of filmmaking and acting, it's really difficult to bounce back from something like this. And I just hope that he gets hired again to do something else. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if what's his name? I have his name here. Joy Von Wade, who plays Cyborg on Doom Patrol. I don't know if he's gonna step up and become like the DCEU's Cyborg. It's not really
recast or something.
Yeah, I mean they have two Cyborgs, so it's like you could easily just be like,
they can get into it.
Right. But it's just crazy to see like someone actually go like up against the executives of such a big company like Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers basically stepped in and protected the DC Films president. And I just think it's crazy. I think it's crazy what's been going on. That's just a little crazy story that started us off here. What do you got next for us?
Okay, up next we have some more news from HBO Max. So actually recently, I think earlier today, as we're shooting this episode, they released a little teaser kind of showing off the new films that are going to be premiering on HBO Max as well as in theaters. They have it's like 2 seconds of each film, right? We have Godzilla vs. Kong. We have new little footage of Space Jam, which actually looks pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Yeah, they showed, it was like 2 seconds, but it looks cool. And then we have Mortal Kombat, which they just released photos for that recently. Mortal Kombat, Space Jam, Godzilla vs. Kong, Suicide Squad, Other films. Let's see, In the Heights. They were showing
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry, of course. That too. Yeah, we covered that a while ago, but it's kind of giving you a tease of what's to come. But it's exciting because now we feel out what these movies are.
Absolutely. I feel like HBO Max is the top tier of all the streaming services. Like they have so much money, first of all. Like they can do anything. Like I know Netflix has a lot of money, but HBO has been around much longer and they hit the mark since their inception. Like, and they're just coming out and they're just like, dude, all of your favorite properties, they're getting sequels. They're getting, they're going to get made.
Reboots and everything.
Yeah, like, dude, we talked about it before. Like, Tom and Jerry, did it need a movie?
Yeah, it did.
But they were like, it does. And I'm just like,
okay. It's interesting to see, though, how they're going to get profit from doing HBO Max. Because I know a lot of directors were really, like, hating on Warner Brothers for not, just releasing in theaters. Because, thinking about the new streaming platform in that area of, attack, like, people are probably going to invest more in HBO Max now with COVID, not going to theaters. But I still think you should go to a theater and support, your local theater. But it's pretty interesting now, the age we live in,
Well, it's even crazy because right here, in San Antonio, there's Northwest 14, the local theater right by me. It's owned by Santikos, and now they just put up a sign that says selling the acres, all the property. They're trying to sell it, and I'm just like, oh man, that's so sad. That was like my like, growing up. That's like one of the theaters I would go to watch movies, and the fact that there's a sign outside saying that it could be sold, it just kind of breaks my heart a little bit.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for movies and TV, but we don't want to be dread on this podcast. We want to be happy and alive and fun.
Yeah, so. absolutely.
And so, but I mean, if you want to talk about sadness, let's talk about Joaquin Phoenix. Playing Joker again. We know Joker's a really crazy,
here we go,
psychological character. Apparently, they're saying he's already signed the dotted line. Insider Daniel Richmond. He's gonna be. I'm gonna mention him a lot, but he's saying he's already signed the dotted line, not just to Joker 2, but multiple DC films.
What? So, no way.
Are we gonna be seeing him in a future Robert Pattinson Batman movie?
That'd be huge. I would be so down for that. I feel like it fits the world. It fits the universe.
I agree. He fits the gritty take that Matt Reeves is kind of going for, more like a film noir style detective drama. Like I've watched that trailer for the Batman at least like 30 times now because I'm just so hyped for it. I'm just like, I want more. I can't wait for this movie. Like I'm literally gonna watch that movie in theaters like at least 2 times, 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
me too.
Just because it looks that good.
The one thing I would want to see from DC is them almost release kind of like what Marvel does, like a game plan of their releases. Because
a slate?
Yeah, it doesn't. Right. Yeah, a slate, exactly. It doesn't seem like they're as organized from exterior. They could have movies planned for like 20 years. Oh, you say they're not? Oh man. Well, I would like to see that though. Like if they have Batman 1, 2, and 3 planned, show me what you have with multiverse and with Joker and all that. You know what I mean?
The problem with DC, their extended universe, is they don't have a Kevin Feige to be at the helm of it all. Kevin Feige was a Marvel fan since the inception of the comics. He talks about it. So for someone like a huge fan to come in and then improve your company and take it to the next level, DC hasn't had that yet. Because I think personally what helps DC and what they should lean on more, and they kind of do, is their animated movies do a really good job of this, but having different styles of it. Like you see Batman Ninja, you see the Batman Gotham by Gaslight, where it's just a different take on it. Like you don't ever see an Iron Man noir film that's coming out or something like that, So it's like DC does that really well, and I think they need to lean. They're doing that. They're leaning on it with Joker doing like a really different take on it, but Marvel thrives from it being just like the comics. You're seeing the exact stories play out, and DC's just trying to do a different approach. The problem is they just have really bad writers, and then the directors get shot down by the actual executives of the Warner Brothers. So it's just, there's a lot of conflicting things going on, and I feel like it just hurts the company at the end of the day. I'm a huge DC fan. Like, if you want to hire me to be your creative director, I'm in. Like, I'm jumping.
Absolutely.
I'm right. Like, I'd love to do that. That'd be a great job. Like,
awesome. Switching over now to the Marvel side of things, which I could talk about all day. We have new announcement. Ethan Hawke will be the new villain. He's been casted in Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac. So this is pretty huge.
No way.
Yeah. This was just announced, I think, yesterday. Pretty insane that we are getting more and more. I mean, Academy Award nominees, Academy Award winners like Christian Bale, you know, and who else? I mean, there's there's a lot. I kind of went blank on who else, but we have Ethan Hawke, and it's just the roster just keeps growing, you know. Next I want to see is Leonardo DiCaprio join in. That would be it for me.
I think there was rumors. I think there was rumors back like a couple months ago that he might, but I don't know. I think he's too much of a serious actor to do like a
true.
superhero movie.
Yeah,
you know, he leans more with like what Martin Scorsese says about the Marvel films. You know, that they're not considered like real films because it's just like make believe. But all movies are make believe in my opinion.
True.
I mean, that's what they are.
Yeah, I remember who.
Speaking.
So I was gonna say I remember who it was, like Mahershala Ali and Angelina Jolie. Those two as well. Like Marvel keeps including these stacked actors. So those were the ones that I remember that they're including. Huge.
Eternals, in my opinion, is probably gonna be like the biggest. Like that's gonna be the another Guardians of the Galaxy type franchise that I think can have the potential to just blow it out of the water if they do it right.
Agreed.
Which is great. But speaking of Marvel. Reportedly, Tobey Maguire's request for $15 million to come back for Spider-Man 3 has been approved by Marvel and Sony.
Wow.
Which is absolutely crazy that he was asking for that much money. But he hasn't done Spider-Man in so long. What was it, 2009 when Spider-Man 3 first came out?
I believe so, yeah.
Right? So it's like, you know, you're asking him to come back to a franchise he's already done. And I personally think that he's only going to have like a small cameo in the last 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think he's going to be like a huge role, but he's critical to what the MCU is trying to do with connecting all of their multiverses.
Absolutely.
So there's so many good theories about the multiverse and what's going on with that, how the comics, the movies, the TV shows are all going to interconnect. Maybe not in this phase, maybe not in phase 5, but maybe phase 6, we're going to be seeing
phase 6,
the big bad.
That's 2030, 2035. That'd be insane. 15 years. That's great. No, but yeah, at this point, they can include anybody they want. They can bring anyone they want because I feel like phase 5 and 6, like you're talking, as far as that is, that's when we start tapping into X-Men and multiverse and they really have fun with it, you know, all their properties.
I think, they're saying already that Deadpool 3 is coming to the MCU sooner than we think. Okay. And it is going to be R-rated. Nice. So I think the inclusion of the X-Men is going to be quicker than we think. But I think as far as like doing a huge crossover event where it's like the X-Men fight the old school Avengers, I think like in 10, 15 years, if Robert Downey Jr. comes back where they like grab him from like a different timeline and he's just like an older Iron Man, like maybe he's retired or he's just like frail, like I love that, you know, or like a Chris Evans. I know they're saying Chris Evans might come back, which is all speculation at this point. But think about it this way. Chris Evans is like he's a good actor, but like I'm not seeing him get picked up for too many projects. So I feel like he's like, dang, I should just go back to Marvel.
With your safety net.
Payday. You know, like they're gonna pay him millions of dollars to come back. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's like get the payday, come back, do 1 or 2 cameos in like maybe another Spider-Man. Because they're saying if he comes back, it would be in the same way how Iron Man did Homecoming, right? Where he's a side character. He's in there for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but he's not the main role in that movie. But
got you, yeah.
We'll see.
Another cool thing about Spider-Man 3, I just recently saw his headline, and you know, take it with a grain of salt, but they said that Charlie Cox was seen on set for Spider-Man 3. So, you know, it was a supported headline with the news article, I'm saying, but I'm not going to believe it until I see it. You know what I mean? Cuz like Feige said, there was some theories out there on the internet that are pretty close, and then he said there were some that aren't even, you know, with the story. So who knows what could be a part of Spider-Man 3 and who knows what's speculation, but still exciting to think.
Well, even like they're saying William Dafoe might be the MCU's main Norman Osborn, and he might be the Green Goblin.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We know that Doc Ock and Electro are coming back, right? So those could be, and this is my theory, that they're going to be sucked away from some sort of like, you know, Doctor Strange is going to be doing some sort of like, oh, I got to bring other Spider-Mans from other universes, and it's going to suck them in between a battle that they're in. So it's going to be Doc Ock with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Electro, and he's going to suck both of them as they're fighting. I don't see, you know, Norman Osborn's Green Goblin getting sucked in as well for any reason. I could see them potentially doing that, but that just seems very far-fetched, you know?
Absolutely,
to just going, like, it would feel like they're just doing it for fan service. Like, oh, he's here now. And it's like, well, did he need to be here? You know, like, So, but this is all rumors, you know? We don't know. It could be. Dude, we could be completely, you know, like, it's just all the baddies. You know, they all show up, you know?
As I hope, you know? Okay, let's see.
I love it. I love villains when they show up in movies.
Oh, I know.
Like, I'm
So
like
awesome.
they're saying the Batman is gonna have like 7 villains, and I'm just like all for it. I'm like,
I
yes,
want all
do
the
it.
rogues. Yep. Because who do we have for them? We have what? Riddler, Penguin, Catwoman. I don't know if Catwoman counts.
Catwoman. No, Catwoman does count.
Okay, Catwoman.
And then I think they were saying
Oh,
speculating.
Carmine Falcone. That counts as one, I guess. But even though he's smaller
Right?
scale.
And then I think they were saying maybe Mr. Freeze makes a cameo.
Okay.
And then there was one more. I'm not remembering him right now. We'll bring it up on the next episode. But I just know that movie's gonna be stacked. That movie's gonna be absolutely stacked, and it's just gonna be great. And speaking of Batman, they're saying that Michael Keaton's Batman is actually gonna stem off into the Batman Beyond franchise, playing an older Bruce Wayne, kind of ending and what's the word? I guess finishing off Michael Keaton's Batman story.
Okay.
And that would probably be the best way to kind of wrap his Batman up, right? Like imagine years later they're just like, hey, we want you to play like an older version of your character that's super famous, by the way. Batman Beyond is like a super famous version of Bruce Wayne, and then just like bringing back Keaton. I think that's perfect casting if they end up doing that. Tim Burton will actually be the one directing him, so they're coming back, both of them. Be kind of cool.
Okay, let's see. Up next, we have here some news for, this is kind of really obscure, but I saw it and I just recently saw it. For those of you fans of Galaxy Quest, they're making a sequel, right? And Tim Allen said he read the script and he thought he loved it because those of you that know, Alan Rickman was a huge part of the movie, one of the leads. He, passed in 2016, but they were saying that probably one of his relatives could come back in the movie to kind of pay homage to his role and stuff like that. So I just thought it was interesting that some of the original cast is going to come back and they're completing, a sequel for this awesome like cult classic, I think, really.
Absolutely. Isn't this one of those movies that just like is like almost like a parody?
Yeah, it's a parody of like Star Trek in a way, but it's crazy how much it holds up on its own. You know what I mean? Like there's homages to a lot of stuff, but it's a classic. It's one of those classics,
It's a classic. If you haven't seen it, you gotta check it out. It's like Spaceballs. Like if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it.
For sure.
Indiana Jones.
Oh,
5.
This is huge.
Are you guys ready for this news? Apparently, Chris Pratt was teasing that he might be Indiana in the next movie. But then Harrison Ford stepped up and said, Indiana dies with me, Chris. He dies with me.
Yeah, this is going to be his last one, right? The
man's old.
I know,
you saw him in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Like, the man is old. He's done. He's like pretty much at the point of like he wants to retire.
Yeah.
I think what's gonna end up happening is Chris Pratt is gonna be like a younger assistant in this movie.
Oh,
and
okay.
At the end, it's gonna be like he leaves him a will and a letter that's like maybe he leaves him the whip.
Yeah.
It's like and the hat, and it's like you carry on the legacy.
That would be pretty crazy, man. There'd be another giant IP that he takes over. Yeah, a franchise that he takes over.
Right?
Like he's already the lead in Jurassic World. That's huge.
Jurassic World, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Indy.
It would be crazy if they gave him yet another franchise to helm. Like I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if that happened.
This even leads me. Chris Pratt is so stacked. He's starring in this other new movie it's like a big team up film, action film, and I think it just recently got sold to either HBO Max or Netflix right now. They're still in a bidding war for it. But continue on to when it comes to Netflix, they actually just came out with the trailer, and they announced they're going to be releasing a huge film every single week in the year of 2021. So
wow,
I think that's kind of huge. Yeah, we have films like starring The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. Oh man, I'm blank on it. What's that one called? I don't know. I have to check it out.
All I know is that Netflix is bringing their A game this year. They saw what Disney was doing and they said we need to step up. We're going to war.
I know, right? War on streaming services.
People have limited amounts of money, and we want it. That's what they're saying.
Oh yes, Red Notice. That's what it's called.
Absolutely.
There's Red, and then even there's a new Netflix film as well called Don't Look Up, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. It's like where they have to kind of warn the world of kind of impending doom that's happening. Huge film. Probably gonna be one of their biggest because that was like their last little teaser at the end. But I mean, bold statement to make. Starting every week. I don't know when it's starting because it hasn't really seemed like they're really making a huge deal of it, but we're waiting. Maybe soon with the first film, but they have different genres, of course, family, action. They're coming in stacked for sure.
I love that. Speaking of streaming services, Quibi's $1 billion, well, actually $1.75 billion, almost $2 billion experiment ends with Roku acquiring the rights for all their shows for less than $100 million. Isn't that just
huge.
A punch in the gut for investors? Imagine that.
That's awful. That's so sad.
That's absolutely awful. Like, you let them. I mean, they didn't have a lot of shows, but like, still. Like,
to think where they go from here, though. I wonder, like, what's the strategy? You know what I mean? Like with Roku.
Well, Quibi's done.
I know Quibi's done. I mean, with Roku.
Are you talking about Roku?
Yeah. Now that you own these titles, what are you going to try and make your own streaming service and do the same thing, or you just wanted to buy it to have it? You know?
Like, are you just gonna have a little tab there of like originals or like our shows or something? You know, because I mean, Roku is a pretty big like provider for all the streaming services, just like Fire Stick. Like Roku is right up there with like the next, you know, they're head to head of who provides the ability for you to be able to watch those shows. So it's like they make a lot of money. Like their stock makes a lot of money, and like after the HBO Max deal that they just finally, you know, figured out, their stock jumped like so much money. It was almost like, I think it was 70%, something like that. It's crazy. Crazy.
Cool. Nice. Here we go. Up next. Let's continue on. Are you good?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Okay. So we have some Last of Us news I'm really excited about the HBO series that's coming out. They just announced a new director now for the pilot, and this is pretty cool. His name is Cantemir Balagov, and on his IMDb page, it only lists him for about 2 or 3 films. But after, you know, further researching in them, the kind of aesthetic and the vibe of these films kind of match up with, you know, one's about a kidnapping and one seems very dramatic and gritty. And I feel like, you know, the choice to pick this director was really well calculated, because the Last of Us pilot has to, you know, match with Joel and Ellie's story. But of course, we have Neil Druckmann is still going to be, you know, executive producing, writing, and all that. But it's just interesting now we have a director confirmed for at least the pilot, you know.
And what's crazy about The Last of Us is Sony came out. If you were listening to our other podcast, Checkpoint, they covered this story where Sony says that the Last of Us series and the Uncharted movie are basically just the start for Sony properties becoming, you know, live action adaptations, which is absolutely insane. And if you want to know everything about gaming, go check out our other podcast, Checkpoint, like I said, hosted by our very own Vincent DeSantis and James Walmer. Absolutely love those guys. Continued support. That show's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, or you can watch it on Twitch, or you can watch it on YouTube. We are covering it all.
Yep.
Next up, very cool, very interesting article from Barry. Season 3's delay has allowed season 4's completion. So the whole season 4 is already written. They're already gonna go and film it, and I'm just like, dude, I love Barry. Like Barry was like the pinnacle, in my opinion. I think it was like 2 years ago when it first came out, of like a great new take on a comedy where it's like, it's so gritty with the hitman storyline, but then it's like the comedy of him trying to be an actor is so good. It's such a good show.
Those Emmy wins aren't for nothing, you know?
Right. Freaking what's his name? Henry Winkler in that show is so good.
Absolutely, man.
Like he plays an acting coach and theater teacher, a director, as like the legitimate, like you see that and you're like, that I've experienced all of that before, you know? And there's a scene in that show where he goes in to audition for something and they have him do like 2 different takes of a certain line or a set of lines. And the way he delivers them, it gives you chills, because you're like, this is what it's like to audition as an actor. And he does it with perfection. And you're just like, this is why you deserve the Emmy. So I just wanted to say that Barry season 3 is done.
So
season
excited,
4
man.
Finished. It's gonna go into production. So very exciting
awesome
stuff.
So excited. When I hopped on HBO, that was like one of the first things I checked out, and I could not be more impressed. The way, you know, to get onto that actor. What's his name? Oh man, I went blank on his name. I keep going blank on actors' names.
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader. Yes, thank you. Bill Hader. His performance and his writing, and he even directs some of those episodes, which is just like, man, what a step up for this guy, you know?
I mean, he's one of the creators. He's one of the creators. So I feel like you're digging into his brain and like bringing it all out. So the fact that they already have 4 seasons, I'm very, very excited about. To see where that shows.
We have some more news now coming from Scream. The Scream film that's coming out. Now they just posted recently on their social media. It's gonna be coming out a year from yesterday, the 14th. Well, no, actually not yesterday. 2 days ago, I looked at my dates, the 16th. So on the 14th, a year from that is when the Scream film will come out. It was just a cool little tease. They showed Ghostface is coming back, and the little tagline was like, Ghostface will kill again. So excited to check out. I've always loved Scream.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, the Scream franchise, bro, top notch. Like original, one of the original, I would say, horror franchises. Like that first film really like did something different. You know, like I would say it's up there with like the original Nightmare on Elm Street, or even like the first Jason, or the first what's that Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Man. Like iconic.
Absolutely.
Like,
It's one of the classics.
Icons of the horror movies,
Yeah.
you know, like absolutely.
And I'm also I'm glad that a lot of, like, almost the entire original cast is coming back. Neve Campbell and some, you know, the cop. God, you can rely on me to go blank on actors. But, you know, so a lot of the original actors are coming back, which I'm pretty excited about. Because that's one thing to recast and start, you know, rebooting. But even though it is kind of a sequel, they call it Scream 5. It's just called Scream. You know, it's just like a new thing for new generation. So pretty exciting.
That's cool. We have a couple of stories here left that are really interesting. First of all, Insecure, the show on HBO, is ending after its next season, season 5.
Ooh, okay.
If you haven't watched it, definitely check that out. We have Mountain Dew is reportedly releasing a new soda for the Riddler.
What the
Isn't
heck?
that crazy?
No way.
Isn't that absolutely crazy? It's like Riddler Dew. I think that's what it's called.
Oh man, one of their sponsors.
Yeah, Riddler's Dew. Oh no, it's called Riddler's Brew. I'm like, wait, Riddler's Brew. That's what it's called.
That's
Riddler's
great.
Brew. It's coming out.
It probably matches because of the green, right? The green.
I guess.
How are they connecting?
I don't know.
That's so random.
I don't know who went to who.
I know.
You know,
they're like,
was it Warner Brothers was like Mountain Dew? Come on, guys,
Reeves.
let's make something. Or was it Mountain Dew that was like, guys,
we got some
Riddler's Brew.
Riddler's Brew, and they're like, fine.
Huh?
We need the money. You know, the delays are killing us. We need the money.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Next up, I don't know if do you have any more stories?
Yeah, I have a couple, but you can go.
Okay, next up, this one's kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. I don't know if you know who Armie Hammer is. I'm sure you've probably heard a little bit about what's been going on because it's been like on every day there's something new. This man is stepping away from the movie Shotgun Wedding with Jennifer Lopez because of a cannibalism scandal. People in his DMs, women in his DMs basically were messaging him, and he would tell them these weird things of like, I wish I could chop off one of your toes and then keep it in my pocket so I always have a little piece of you.
So he couldn't take it?
He has like a fetish. He has like a cannibalism fetish.
Oh,
which is really weird. Really weird.
Ugh,
you know?
awful.
And he even told his girlfriend, like, I would love to chop off your ribs and grill them in like a barbecue.
What the heck?
It's like, what the what is wrong with you?
So
you
strange.
weirdo. And this guy apparently is also the heir to like $1 billion like family fortune.
No way.
And I'm just like,
makes sense.
Yeah. Like, and he's a freak. Like, I'm like, dude, you don't bounce back from cannibalism, bro. Like, I'm sorry. But he's set for life, so it's like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. He can do what he wants, you know. Let's see. In the chat, we have Boba saying you failed to mention his divorce because of this. Oh, geez.
Oh,
that's awful. So just go.
Shit, I'd divorce the fuck out of him too. I'd be like, nah, fam, you ain't eating me at night. He's like nibbling on her ear, and then he's like, can I actually eat this?
Oh, it's awful. Yeah, and the termination of his movie. Yeah, with J-Lo. That's why he left. Because all the
he stepped away,
right?
And Lionsgate was like, we support this decision. And I'm just like, yeah, that's just a better way of saying you're fired because you're a weirdo.
Oh man. Oh, that's awful. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, definitely the weirdest headline we'll have today.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
strange.
moving on. This is huge, right? We have a new headline from David O. Russell is making a brand new film, right? And the cast is loaded. We have Robert De Niro, Mike Myers, Timothy Olyphant, Michael Shannon, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, and much more. Like, it doesn't even end there. There's still, I think, who else is it? Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Rami Malek, Zoe Saldana will also star in the project.
What's this movie called?
This is insane. I don't think we have a title yet. It's a untitled project, but it's based on an original idea from the 5-time Oscar-nominated filmmaker. That's insane.
That sounds
right?
awesome.
It's huge. It's currently in production right now, but it is stacked, man. That is stacked.
Yeah, that's
I think
I would say
definitely,
that's close to like a Suicide Squad's, like,
I know,
you know,
I know, right? The Suicide Squad of
roster.
Hollywood, yeah, for sure. Definitely, as soon as I get more news on that, when it comes to a title or a trailer, I will definitely be mentioning it here. That is, it's I'm excited. That's my most anticipated film, probably. As of now, I don't even know what it is.
Absolutely. I don't know anything about it, but I'm like so hyped.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. All right.
That's awesome. I think I got like two more here. John Favreau was actually the reason that Gina Carano wasn't fired by Disney. I know there was a lot of backlash during the filming of Mandalorian because she had a couple of tweets that were like, hey, maybe, you know, the Democratic government leaders now recommend we all wear blindfolds along with masks so we can't see what's really going on.
Oh, yes.
She was also saying things about voter fraud, which, you know, you can go and speculate all you want about that. But she basically, you know, there's a lot of people who were saying, get rid of her, fire her.
Yeah,
Disney was leaning towards it and even wanted her to apologize. But John Favreau was like, dude, y'all need to stop. Like, she's too good. She's essential to the show. As we saw in the second season, she was there to the very end. So, you know, I'm saying, you know, people need to suck it up and just let people have their opinions online and just, you know, like, you can't try to censor everybody because of their free speech. Like, just if you don't agree with it, don't watch the show. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know?
true. You don't have to support what you don't believe in. You know.
Absolutely. You don't have to support what you don't believe in.
Okay.
You know.
Oh, actually, that's really it for me. Oh, we also have I kind of missed this one. So this is pretty interesting when it comes to the Suicide Squad movie. There, you know, one of the actors in John Cena is playing a character called Peacemaker. You know, and they're actually making a spin-off series for HBO Max. James Gunn is helping write and direct it, and they said that they've started filming it already. So that's pretty crazy. I don't know why they would do a spin-off from one of the most random characters in the Suicide Squad film, but they're doing it and they're already working on it. So pretty crazy. Maybe it's a tie-in to the movie.
I feel like big names nowadays are just getting their own shows because they're big names. You know, like John Cena. Oh, give him a show, and they're just like, all right, how much
just
money
use
we
that
need?
character?
25 million. All right, sign the check. You know, like just because he's just big. You know,
more
people will watch
things.
John Cena.
Especially with HBO Max, they're trying to really compete with Disney Plus right now. Even though the competition is weird with streaming services, because Netflix, HBO, and Disney Plus are all their own things. They can't even compete with each other, even though I think that they're trying to. You know,
right?
Like Disney
Plus you really can't compete because it's on. Well, you're competing for subscribers and attention.
Yeah,
you know, that's really what you're competing for. But you're saying it in the sense of like you're not necessarily like your franchises aren't like you don't own a property, like not anymore, because Netflix is all of their Marvel shows are now going back to Disney Plus. And Kevin Feige is saying that Netflix's Defenders are on board for a potential return. So we might see the Defenders come back in future movies.
Absolutely.
Because apparently all those characters still want to, you know, they still want to do it. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, of course, Punisher. What was the other one? The one with
Iron
the
Fist. Iron
Fist.
Yeah.
No, and then there's one more. There's one
Iron
more.
Fist, Jared,
the
Punisher?
dude that gets shot and
Punisher,
then he doesn't.
Right? Oh, Luke Cage. Luke Cage.
Yeah. So all those properties will still come back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know when the timeline for that is. Maybe, you know, phase 6, like I'm saying, but
yeah, when Kevin Feige was interviewed, they actually asked him, hey, what about these people? And he actually basically was saying nothing's off the table. You know, they have it set up, but whether or not the schedule is ready for it, they don't know. But I mean, knowing Kevin Feige, he remembers everything and he wants everything to be included. And now with Disney Plus and them having shows, you don't have to worry about, oh, do we have to make this a film or cancel it? They can just say, make it into a Disney Plus show and it'll be completely fine.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what's so cool about Disney Plus. But you know, you got your different streaming platforms, and like I think HBO Max rules when it comes to kind of big quality films, because like you're getting like $200 million budget films, you know. They're releasing
home box office.
Yeah, you're getting
home box office.
Yeah, you know. And then Netflix is great. If they're gonna stick to their releasing one a week, I think they'll be good with consistency and, like you said, attention rate. You know. And then with Disney Plus is more like a niche. I feel like it's niche because you gotta be into it, or you're not.
Extremely niche, dude. They haven't come up with an original IP in like a hot sec. Like they're just like right now, all Disney Plus is like all their originals are just like, hey, Star Wars, hey, Marvel.
That's it.
I think if you give them 2021, after 2021, they'll be set up to be more like a Netflix where they have a whole bunch of stuff.
Absolutely.
And then they'll be making enough money to where they can experiment. You know, and that's what I want. I want them to experiment with something completely different. and bring us something new where it's like, oh wow, like Pixar obviously is gonna make their own stuff, and what's it called? Disney Studios is making their own properties, like we saw. But I want them to create like a whole new franchise that is just like people are just in love with it and they're like, wow, this is amazing. But before we end here, I have one final story, and we want to end you guys on a strong rumor. Oh. Doctor Doom is apparently coming to Black Panther 2.
Oh, I heard about this.
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
And they're saying that he might spark a war between Atlantis and Wakanda. And I don't know what's going to happen there. They're saying Doctor Doom might be the next big bad in the MCU. Could it be? Could it be somebody else? We have no idea. I feel like if he doesn't make an appearance in Fantastic Four, he's probably not going to do it. But that's probably where we're going to get our first step on who's the big bad. It's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of rumors and news coming out every week, and we're going to be covering it right here on
Real
Freeze
quick,
Frame.
Also, before we end, in the chat as well, those of you that want to watch us on Twitch, you guys help out reminding us storylines. Boba just said Cherry as well. I don't know if you want to mention, there's a new trailer out for that movie Cherry from the Russo brothers. But, it's coming out on Apple TV Plus, so I'm like, it's whatever. But
I got Apple TV Plus for a year because I got a new iPhone. So, I'll definitely watch it. I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm a fan of Tom Holland's. But
yeah, it's like one of those things. But still wanted to mention it because that was kind of hyped because it's Russo's. You know what I mean?
Boba just loves the Russo brothers, bro. I get it. You love the Russos. I've met Anthony Russo. He's not all that. He's kind of a nerdy guy with glasses.
Oh my god! What the heck? Bold statement. Okay.
No, I love those guys. I love the Marvel franchise. I love DC. I love it all. And that's why we made this podcast, because we love talking about these properties. We love speculating. We love theorizing, all sorts of different stuff. And it's going to be happening right here every week, live on Twitch at 12 Pacific time. And then on YouTube the next day, and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, all sorts of places. Hosted by Luigi and Ryder and Luigi, the best of buds, the greatest of friends. And I couldn't have asked for a better co-host, man. This was a blast. Great first episode.
Great first episode.
Thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I'm excited to continue this stuff. Me too, man. I'm looking forward to all the weeks when we can just get into all the new headlines from Marvel, Disney, other big films in Hollywood. I'm excited. It's only going to get better from here.
Absolutely.
All right.
Exactly.
I'll go ahead and run the... Are you anything else? Sorry.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much to all our listeners and on all our audio platforms. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Subscribe, leave us a rating if you enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. Bye-bye, everybody.